You're live. You may be live. You feel alive when you're. Okay. I had postponed this because, as I said, a couple of these shirts had not arrived yet, and Carl Morawski did his flannel shirt guide, and it was just 8 new shirts that he got, most of which are, except for maybe the Ariat ones, either out of my price range or not quality that I would necessarily want. I've had Wrangler flannel shirts in the past, and I find that after one washing, they shrink a lot and don't look very nice. This is not a flannel shirt. It's too warm for that still. I did my Western shirts video on Sunday, I think, instead. And of course, like less than 10 people have watched it. So I guess all those posh young Brit guys who want to dress like cowboys this year aren't watching what us Yanks are up to or don't care. It's just a trendy fashion fad for them. They'll wear it until they don't. They didn't grow up with the stuff. They don't care about the stuff. They wouldn't last 10 minutes in, Arizona in a denim shirt anyway, where it's, I'm sure, still warmer than here. I have to run my mouth a bit to make sure it's recording, because sometimes I have to do 2 or 3 takes. I don't really like filming at this time in the afternoon very much because there's a lot of glare from this window in addition to, the direct sunlight making it warmer, but it's not too terrible, even though the room is already a little bit warm. So my voice might dry out faster than some mornings. Okay, so I know I showed some of these shirts in at least one video before, but I wanted to address a couple things that I already mentioned in the Western shirts video. I'm going to show again in this one, just because they were intended to be the beginning of this one. Anyway, and then I want to talk more about newer shirts, acquisitions, companies I haven't really dealt with before before just showing you a bunch of stuff that I probably already showed you. Last year, I did that Woolrich video right around Christmas where I was very disappointed about their sizing. So we won't dwell on that, but we will. There are still some of those Woolrich shirts here. Anyway, to address the elephant in the room, yes, I did pay almost $200 for a shirt, but it's a 100% wool shirt, or at least it claims to be, not a 100% cotton or cotton blend shirt. Okay, I know cotton's gotten more expensive, but this, I'm not calling a wool shirt a flannel shirt for the purposes of this video, even though technically I guess it's still brushed or whatever, I don't know. But this is a Pendleton. I don't think I own any cotton things from Pendleton. I think I strictly buy wool things from them, and I'm willing to pay extra because they're wool, right? So that's why I was saying the Ariat ones for $80. I might check those out sometime, but I don't really need them right now because I have 8 million flannel shirts, and I just got 3 more in the mail and 2 from another company. So those were the ones I was going to mention next. But as I said in the Western shirts, going off the wool thing, this was an LL Bean one that they came out 8 or 10 years ago-ish. And it was their tech wool, but it feels more like a cotton. It doesn't feel like wool, but it's meant to be the kind of the warm properties or the moisture wicking of wool, but it is 100% polyester. Okay, and these I think were $80 at the time. And some guy said this was like the barfiest orange shirt he'd ever seen in his life, even though it's not actually orange, it's more of a rust plaid. Very autumny, yay. But unlike the Duluth ones that came out around the same time, this one didn't promise to keep you cooler. The Duluth ones didn't keep me cool, and I think I left that in the garage, but it doesn't matter. Yes, but those I took hiking in June one time and was definitely warm, not cool, wearing the flannel shirt on the trail. Because once I got above the marine layer of that cool misty fog stuff, I was in direct sunlight and just sweating. Okay. So I don't know if it moisture wicked more of the sweat or not. But polyester in this case, like I said, it's supposed to be a tech wool, I think, but a cowboy kind of a pattern, so that's why I included it in the cowboy video, but definitely not the true feel of wool either. Okay, but meant to look like wool. And then of course on the other hand, you have like I've showed this one before in the cowboy video. The Haband or whatever brand. These are, it claims to be 100% cotton, but it doesn't have a very nice feel to the hand of it, but it still has the cowboy snaps and the double pockets and the yokes and all the hallmarks of Western wear, or most of the hallmarks of Western wear. The back yoke's not really there, but it does have a double layer, but not the contrast overlay or the pointed, jagged, whatever design elements that you can see a little more prominently on the front. Right. Okay. But anyway, so yes, most of the flannel shirts I buy do not resemble cowboy shirts. They resemble more traditional lumberjack shirts or office casual, I guess, or casual shirts. So going to, save that one for later then. I don't remember if I covered them before or not, but anyway, like I said, LL Bean. Obviously, I've got 50 LL Bean shirts here or something. They're kind of my go-to. So let's stick with LL Bean for a second, because that's just easier if I just do LL Bean. Okay. And then I'll do another cowboy one that I showed before. Okay, so LL Bean, though, they have different textures, I guess is the best word for it, for their flannels. Like this one is the Wicked. This pattern is no longer available, but there's similar patterns to some of the other patterns here, blah, blah, blah. But these are their non-shrink. So this one's only a medium, and yet miraculously can still fit on me, because this is when they still gave you a more generous cut in a fabric that's meant to not shrink. It's still going to be a little tight on me, but I know it won't shrink, even though supposedly, there's no polyester in it. That's what usually keeps stuff from shrinking when they take cotton and ruin it with garbage fibers, right? That's kind of the bottom line. And so I also have this other one, which is similar in texture, but is a thicker moleskin weave, and I doubt they'll ever offer this again. But here again, medium. I can squeeze into the mediums still, although I wish I could get these in large or possibly even extra large just for layering. Not sure if I would need an extra large, depending on how they're going to cut them and all that, but they stopped doing the medium regular for a while and started doing everything skinny fit. So I had bought a bunch of large in the skinny fit, and I still can't wear them because they're just too tight in the waist, which is where I need extra fabric. And then, yeah, let's do that. Okay. Do things a little bit. Okay. This brand I may have showed before, and I definitely have talked about a lot. I don't remember which video is which, but it was over a year ago. So if you're watching this now, you probably don't care. But Cabela's, obviously, they got bought out by Bass Pro Shops. So this one in a large probably does not still fit. On the other hand, we'll see. We'll find out if I get around to wearing it this year, because I have some of these things that I bought quite a while ago and got shuffled around for other things and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I just buy them because I like the pattern more than I actually care about it, because I can always use the fabric for something else later if I really, really, really want to. But this is a nice, thicker, soft. So Cabela is another company that had different ranges of things. They offered a lot of the chamois shirts. This was a lighter weight one. This one's a Bass Pro instead, but basically the same thing as Cabela's had. They had a lighter weight and a heavier weight one, same as Bean, but the Bean ones aren't. Not everything is exactly laid out perfectly here. But so yeah, so this was pretty inexpensive, $24.99 at the time, and I think I got it at a sale price. And Cabela's, I used to get the club points, so I used to get stuff for free if I bought stuff. So you buy a little bit of stuff, then you get a free safari shirt or whatever the deal was. So everything didn't always come full price. But this one, again, kind of an outdoorsy thing with the antlers and the very autumny colors. I'm showing more of the autumny colors now than some of the other kind of colors we could dwell on, because I'm calling this the fall preview, even though I probably won't do a winter preview, because Like I said, I've already done flannel shirt videos, but you'd have to check their current, like I said, Bass Pro Shops, what they're up to now. I don't really know, but here's a Cabela's chamois shirt again. That was very nice. I had 2 or 3 of these, and my cousin took one of them, and these were all in medium, so I grew out of them almost immediately. But at the time, I think they were selling out very fast. So again, I think I bought this one more for the maybe I'll make a pillowcase out of it or something one of these days, than actually try to wear it. But again, another kind of Western design one. I had a Bass Pro Shops that's the same pattern as this, but this is not actually Bass Pro Shops. This is Woodland Trail, whoever made this, Blair or Haband or whoever. And this one runs big, and I've worn this one in videos before, and I've talked about this one before. And this definitely probably less expensive or the same price as Bass Pro Shops, but a much more generous fit. Okay, so since I've done some of those brands before and blah, 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 blah. Okay, LL Bean. So once again, in LL Bean, we have, again, the Wicked and the Moleskin. Oh, yeah, this one's slightly fitted Moleskin. So we don't really need to talk about that because it's the same one as the blue one that I already, or the rust check pattern one that I already showed. This, on the other hand, is the Scotch plaid flannel, which is going to be different than the Wicked and the Moleskin. The Moleskin being the thickest, the Wicked being less thick but denser weave. This one being a standard nice shirt that's heavier than a lot of your less expensive ones, but like the Wrangler ones, but not super heavy. We're not in, the chamois ones. There was the light chamois were probably around 7 or 8 ounces. This I think is around 5 or 6-ish, which is kind of standard. And then a lot of them we'll see now are 3 and 4s or whatever. I forgive me if I'm misquoting the weight of this, but I think it's around a 5.6. Okay, if that matters to you at all. But of course, these are most people consider like the gold standard of budget-friendly flannels because, yeah, they went up from $35 to like $50 or whatever, but they still last a long time. They still feel great. They're still reasonably warm. And I still have like 6 of them over here. So I'm kind of going out of order slightly, but right. But what do I care? But they do run a little bit smaller on me now. So this large is a little bit tight. I would rather have an extra large just to allow for layering and shrinkage, but that's LL Bean, and it's not LL Bean. Here's my autumn into Christmas kind of favorite pattern here. This one, what we got here, large regular, yeah. So another one that's borderline on the small side, but a champ, gets worn a couple times every year, and then has to go back into the sad winter storage mode. There's another one, the Scottish plaid. So you can get, now again, I consider this more of a winter into spring pattern, whereas those other two I consider more of holiday patterns because the, Stuart Christmas connection, I didn't invent it. It's a thing. Similar to this, which we'll talk about in a second. Here's another one that's a couple years old now. Being aware this one keeps getting neglected. But yeah, at the time this was $50 already, and I probably had a coupon. But it's another LL Bean Scottish plaid or something plaid. Yeah, Scottish. Which tartan is this? Is most likely maybe one that they made up in-house. I'm not familiar with that. And of course, I've showed these both before. Backtracking slightly, we have the, I don't know, Haband or whoever budget brand version of a Stuart thing. So this one's the one that I'll still wear after the holidays because this gray makes it feel a little more January than autumn to me. Okay, so we're skipping autumn and going straight to winter if we jump into something like this. Whereas the Bass Pro Shops one, I know I've worn this one on the channel before. the Bass Pro Shops. So this one's a little more autumn into holiday festive. It's not as bright with the green for the, you know, really Christmassy look because they muted it to a brown, but you know, you still got that red, and you could put a green wool vest or something over it and make it look super Christmassy. Once, you know, once autumn turns into that brief 2 to 3 week season known as the holidays, which technically happens after Thanksgiving, even though Thanksgiving is one of them, because we don't really dress like Christmas on Thanksgiving, because that would be weird. Okay. And similarly, there's a J.C. Penney one that I've showed before. And J.C. Penney obviously is going to come up big. And so we're 15 minutes in, and I haven't talked about the new brands yet that I said I was going to do at the beginning. Does he care? No. And so briefly, Scandia Woods, that's a Blair chamois, just to show off the chamois. You can get chamois in other colors besides chamois, or ShamWow, as Vince might say. But yeah, I like a neutral thing. Same as that oatmeal one. This is not called oatmeal. This is called chamois. And they're a little bit warmer. They're a little bit, well, usually they're thicker, which makes them a little bit warmer. But not totally heavy duty always. Okay. Who's this? We're going to save those for after. Okay. So recently, no, I'll do JCPenney first. Okay. So JCPenney's going to get his way first. Okay. Oh, actually, bean. Before we're done, another bean. This one's a current pattern. They have this houndstooth in a couple different colors, and I also have it from another company that we'll get into. If I really, really, really like this houndstooth, yes, I do. I have this in gray and burgundy somewhere, I think, too, also. But it's the same wicked flannel, not the moleskin, but the non-shrink material. And another bean in the wicked and another discontinued pattern. This one goes great with khaki pants, even more than jeans, right? Because sometimes when I buy a flannel shirt or even a camp shirt, I like it if I know it can go with green pants, tan pants, or blue pants, since those are the three, apart from gray, are the most common color pants you're likely going to wear. Especially if you're me, you like green pants and tan pants most of the year than you like blue pants and brown pants. So I don't wear a ton of stuff like this per se with brown pants, whereas something like this, I probably would wear with brown pants, right? So something like this goes good with blue pants or tan pants, but for me, better with tan pants. Something like this, on the other hand, I would probably wear more with blue jeans or black pants more often, even though it still has a tartan thing going on. This is an older JCPenney one. The size larges still fit me reasonably well. Although some shrinkage can occur, and I gave a couple away to a neighbor recently to kind of get rid of them. May have been featured in a previous video, but JCPenney here has up the wazoo. So, okay. So here's what I'm just going to barrage you with pleasant images of decorative color ideas, some of which are more autumn. This one, for example, I consider a real Dead Poets Society shirt. I've almost always owned something of this color scheme in my clothes since I was at least 16, maybe even before that movie made me want to have the shirt that Knox Overstreet had, of which some of these are similar, and I covered that in that Dead Poets video that 2 people watched or whatever. Like this one, this would be a very Dead Poet-y kind of thing. This is just a more recent iteration of the JCPenney St. John's Bay version. So this one's an extra large because I just got it last year and didn't get around to wearing it. Same with this one. Because last year I wore hardly any flannel shirts at all. It was a very weird year. We went from hot to cold in about 2 weeks. And here, of course, some Black Watch, which again, I consider a winter into spring deal more than an autumn deal. If you want to wear this in autumn, I'm not stopping you, but you probably won't see me in it for 5 more months. This one I definitely consider a late winter into spring, kind of turquoisey aqua color. I've had this one for a gazillion years and finally wore this last year or this year, whichever year it was, because I still have a gray one with the collar tags and things in it, and I'm probably going to give that one to my neighbor because that seems like the kind of thing he really, really, really wants. More than I really need another gray flannel shirt. Okay. So yeah, this one I showed before. This one definitely more of, it can be autumn. Again, depends on what you're pairing it with. But to me, these muted colors scream January. So this one will almost certainly get used, even though it's a large, not a newer one. This one I kind of thought was kind of a dead poety kind of one, even though it could be kind of cowboy too, I guess. This one I've had for a long time. I don't know. This one I bought, even though the cowgirl told me the tan one was better, and I wore the tan one a lot and never wore this one. And so the tan one's one of the ones I gave to him. This one, on the other hand, is another one that I got last year. I got the Scottish. Kind of redundant because I already had those other 2 or 3, but when I saw it, I was like, well, might as well grab it because, you know, again, what screams Christmas into January better than this pattern? And since those other 2 are getting kind of ratty, we'll see. Whereas these 2 are more definitely very dead poety, very more preppy, more refined than your kind of lumberjack look. I do not consider either of these much of an autumn pattern. These, again, more of a early spring kind of look. I could wear the darker one. I could wear the darker one in winter pretty easily with jeans. But this one's too much white in it. That's almost summery to me. And they've both been worn, just not a ton. So there's that. And you are JCPenney, yes. So again, Christmas into January. Much even more January than the one I just held up, the white one. Not the blue and white one, but the tartan white one. You know what I mean. Well, they're both technically tartan, but the Stuart tartan. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so then we got, these are all. So I'm literally doing the new brands last after all. Whatever. Clickbait. I can do what I want. It's my channel. I forget. I showed this one, I think, in the lederhosen video. This is like not technically a German shirt, but could work with lederhosen if you're having a much, much cooler day than we are here with the 80-something degree. It's going to be warmer tomorrow. But it's not, I didn't buy this new. I don't know where this brand comes from. Somebody gave it to me and it almost still fits. Okay, so we've got 4. What other, I think I showed this one before. This one came from Wal-Mart. I think it's just too small. I've never tried it on. I just liked the colors again because this to me could be spring, but it's pretty autumn because the orange is more autumn than the green. And of course, at Walmart, it was only $10 at the time. So I grabbed it and then still haven't worn it. So I don't know how this one will wash and wear and perform. So it's going to get washed tonight along with the Kohl's shirt. But the Kohl's shirt, even though they're similar colors, and if that bleeds a little orange on this, I won't be too upset, even though it's oatmeal or off-white or whatever. This I bought in the extra large. The things I didn't like about this is, one, it's a poly blend. I forget how much, but it was an impulse buy when I bought some of the other stuff. Those sailor things. Made in India, which some of these are. 65% cotton. 20-something poly and some viscose, recycled cotton and recycled polyester. So I got 2 shirts from them for $30, and I figured they were worth a shot, but I don't like how they didn't give me an adjustable button on the sleeve cuff here, so I'm going to have to move or add a button because this sleeve cuff, when I tried it on, I didn't like where the button fell or how the cuffs came down over my hand or whatever. And with the polyester blend, I don't know if it will shrink any, but again, this more of a spring shirt to me than fall. But since I have a couple new shirts here, I'm going to wash them and see if they turn into Wrangler shirts, basically. So that's going to be one experiment for, I waited to do this video slightly. This was another one that I got from them. So also Kohl's, also on sale for dirt cheap, also another kind of dead poety. But this one a little more autumn than winter because it's got that kind of gold band in it. So I could see throwing this on right now if it was, 30 degrees cooler than it is. Even though technically, like I said, I usually think of this as more of a nautical kind of a look with the dark navy than necessarily a Western look or a lumberjack look or a autumn look. So that brings us back to Woolrich. As we're talking about Woolrich, Woolrich had done flannel shirts that I liked, and I had like 3 in this pattern. I have a red one somewhere in the garage, I think. These are size large, but they still fit decent. I got rid of like one of the medium ones to a neighbor or something. I don't think they offer too many things that are in the price range that I want anymore. These were super cozy though. They were a little pricey, but very nice, soft texture. But all their sizing on the wool stuff anyway that I bought was terrible. Everything that used to be considered, like a medium, they now call an extra large or something. Like everything is tiny. I would have to get like a double or triple XL from them to maybe squeeze into a shirt. I got the 2 shirts. I tried one on. I sent them both back. That was that. And so whether or not I'll get any more flannels from them, I don't know, because I think I tried to get something and they didn't have it in stock or whatever. That so maybe things will be better this year. But after Black Friday, all bets are off. Right? Anyway, this is kind of a nice holiday one again, kind of autumny into Christmas, which again, that's only a couple weeks of a window there though. So if it's 80 degrees, I don't get to wear any of them. So they all go back in the bin. Whereas other flannel shirts that I don't, care about the colors and the patterns and stuff so much, those can get worn, way more than some of these. So you're like, oh, you have a perfectly nice shirt. Yeah, but I don't like wearing red and green in January or in November. It just doesn't happen. Okay. Red and green is like that little segment there. If it's too hot, I don't wear it. Okay. Then it brings us to, we'll do him first. Okay. Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer. I complained about Eddie Bauer before because they have 2 fits, and this is the wrong fit. This is the classic fit, which is too small, which means these larges are going to be tight on me at best. Might be trying to sell these to my neighbor again because I held on to them for too long or whatever. I might be able to squeeze into them again, but this one's really cool. This one's kind of springy, but it's also kind of autumny. Whereas this one, again, dark gray, black, green, winter. Okay, this is winter, maybe early spring. Whereas this is possibly late spring with some khakis, but also decent Dead Poet Society kind of autumny, preppy kind of look. Again, I haven't been going into super detail about all this stuff because most of them, like I said, I buy with single chest pockets. They're more of the office casual, with the button collars. I don't tend to buy a lot of flannel shirts, again, that I'm trying to pull double or triple duty with. I mean, I think, these don't have button-down collars. But, of course, they were only $17. So, okay, one less detail. Whereas all the J.C. Penney ones that can run on sale closer to $20 or probably more like 30 now. They'll usually have a button collar. And so these Eddie Bauer ones, here's one in classic fit also. Oh, another kind of good spring one or autumn one, kind of a buffalo check, and also in the wrong size. They offer one called relaxed fit. And if you have any kind of meat down here, potatoes or whatever, you're going to want the relaxed fit ones, not these tapered ones. Okay, so live and learn. And then here was one I got from Cabela's a long time ago, also a medium, tragically way too small. Real thick, warm, soft, wonderful, lovely, but with the double chest pockets. If you don't know what double chest pockets are instead of single pockets, more of an outdoorsy style, a little more rugged, no button down collar. You know, why is this camera? Okay. You know, none of that. Bigger buttons. Well, not as big as the Duluth ones, but something like this. You know, if you're just going for a generic look, same as that other blue one with the black from the LL Bean Scottish collection. I mean, if you just don't care what autumn colors are supposed to be, again, this is, to me, usually more of a summer shirt. Why am I wearing it? Because it's a loose open cotton weave, and I'm not super sweaty wearing it right now. Whereas if I put this on, I would just be taking a shower inside a shirt. So, of course, I've talked about Duluth before. I didn't bring in a ton of Duluth ones, just this one that's a beefy, one of their free swinging deals, but big buttons, big pocket flaps. Still technically a spring color shirt because it's a lighter green, but too heavy to really wear here in spring very much. Giant locker loop on the back. Everything kind of big, but not necessarily oversized. This one's a large, and I think a large still fits me fine with this. And of course, it has the underarm gussets that are technically in the wrong place because they should really be more forward than beneath, because I've complained about many times, unless I'm doing jumping jacks, this is not a technical work motion. That's more, you know, usually more side to side. But those cost what, like 60 something bucks. They're a little bit thicker, but they're not the softest, most beautiful weave or anything. Whereas like a goofy corduroy thing like this from Territory, which probably does not still fit, even though it's also a size large, this kind of herringbone thing going on. I would technically not consider this a flannel. It's more like an overbuilt chamois shirt. Corduroy hybrid or whatever, and it's not polyester. It's 40% rayon though, and 2% spandex, so it might stretch a little bit around my girth. We'll see how it goes. Hasn't gotten used yet, but I have some regular corduroy ones that do get used more often, but corduroy is a whole other topic we'll have to save for another day. Okay, so I did cover the Wal-Mart and the Aero-post or whatever it's called. What's the Kohl's brand called? Yes, Aero-post from Kohl's. And so the new ones that I was waiting on, I'll talk about first. This is just another Haband one. It's like one of the cheapest things I own. So another one I should probably wash first and see how it does. I don't know if there's any reason to really talk about it, but of course, to me, more of a winter than an autumn, but for a lot of people, that once the temperature drops, they're in the buffalo check, right? Blue, green, red, brown, gray. What other colors do buffalo check usually come? So yeah, we'll see. Okay, so this was this catalog that I had gotten. Not this particular catalog, this is the one they sent me. But I had never heard of this brand before, Land's End, so I thought I would try them out. And this book has a much better illustration of what the patterns actually look like than the book I had, where they were all stacked on top of each other, and you have to go from like a half-an-inch snippet because I'm lazy and I never go to websites. But they were having a Columbus Day sale, so from $30, these guys were marked down, or from $50 marked down to $30. So I got Black Watch, which these are all in the bag, so forgive me. And I got extra large in Black Watch for Columbus Day, so another one that I'll probably wash with those two, although it's a little dark to maybe wash with those two. This one I can definitely wash, I think, with those two. This one, which is kind of similar to some other tartan things that you might have enjoyed in your past or whatever. Again, these two colors being more of winter spring shirts for me, but that was what looked kind of appealing. And then this one that looked autumny and dead poety. There's a different one. What's it called? Navy taupe plaid on the end here. If I can keep the shine, just go right on it. Navy taupe. I think I might have liked that one a little better for whatever reason than the one with all the red, but this one, I don't know. I guess it looked slightly different to me and thing, but it's fine for what it is. Like I said, it's kind of the same color scheme as those other ones that I always have around. So yeah, I'm gonna wash a couple of these, or one of them at least, and see if it shrinks like a Wrangler, or if they fit fine. So if I need to return them because they look terrible after one washing, we'll know. I can send them back tomorrow. And that brings us to the final brand. That's all on the floor, but it doesn't matter because they're all in baggies. And I have some other shirts of theirs that I need to return. They have 3 different weights or something over the years. So 3 of these are the same thing. And 2 of them are maybe the same. That's the same as that, I think. And I have a red one. Anyway, I'm not sure what they're all called, but Orvis, this one very autumny, wintry. And these cost more. So when we're talking about the price, I'm not positive if their value matches their price or not yet. We'll find out. This one I got, again, similar to that LL Bean one, the Wicked one. So definitely a comparison I want to make, but this one has 2 chest pockets instead of 1. And it's a very similar houndstooth, though. A little bit more muted, a little bit more subdued. But the shirt itself a little more robust. No button-down collar. I don't know if you can see that. Similar to that is this. Bean has something similar to this currently, but I already have this one, so I don't know if I'm going to order that one or not. This one, I'm more of a winter with the green for me than autumn, but maybe I'll wash it with these other guys since they're all kind of the same color and see how it does. This one is the new pattern that I absolutely adored. Very, very North Woodsy, very traditional Scottish tweedy, but a flannel shirt. Now they call this classic fit, and I hope that it's bigger than the Eddie Bauer classic fit, but I did get, some of these are large and some of these are extra large. I forget which ones are which, because I do have some of their large shirts that are too small and some that fit, so kind of hit or miss. So yeah, I'll probably be washing a bunch of green shirts tonight just to see how they handle the machine. And these were more of a heavy weight. Those were more of their standard weight. This is more of almost a chamois. And this one's from last year that I had to do 2 exchanges or something to finally get the right shirt. But this says autumn all day, every day, but this is way thicker than those other shirts. So I'll be lucky if I even get to wear this year. I'm not holding my breath. Whereas if this one still fits, I'll be able to wear this. Even though I have, 30 other shirts lying over there. But I'm not embarrassed about having that many flannel shirts because, again, sometimes I just want the pattern and, don't necessarily need to use the shirt as the shirt if I'm going to do something else with the fabric or something. Or sometimes they find a home with somebody else who's desperate for some school shirts or whatever. So this one, called Classic Fit again. This is the exact same material, but in camo, but in a desert camo. So definitely your late summer look. If your late summer is, I don't know, Maine, where it's already maybe 40 degrees as opposed to here, where a heavy duty camo shirt is going to not do me very much good at all. Maybe someday I'll move and then I'll use it. Whereas this one is beautiful. This is heavyweight, but this is more of a Christmas pattern. Again, to me. So if we do have an early cold season, I'll get to wear this. Although this one, no, this one's extra large. So yeah, I got this one more recently. Like I said, I have a red one that I think I got last year. So that's pretty much most of them. That's pretty much, well, not most of them. I got a whole bunch of other ones that are, like I said, winter shirts, not autumn shirts. So maybe we'll do this again when I'm, packing off a bunch of these to the Goodwill finally or whatever. Or maybe I'll just get bored and decide I need to do a video in January about flannel shirts again. Stranger things have happened. This is 40 minutes long. I didn't think this was going to take 40 minutes, but I also didn't think I was going to be talking about Aero-post after 10 minutes had already elapsed either. So whatever. And Land's End again. Like I said, I'll wash a couple of these, see how they look, see how they stack up for the price. Again, with a $30 shirt, are you really going that much wrong? Yeah, sometimes, because like I said, those Wrangler ones, I really will never buy those ones again unless I'm going to wear it once and then donate it or something, because after it was washed, way too small, way too rumpled, way too frumpy, the collar, all out of whack, worse than this one. I mean, this is a thin, flimsy, nothing collar. But it's also not a heavier flannel shirt. This is a 3-ounce bit of nothing that I think is also from J.C. Penney, but I don't remember. Anyway, okay, so as usual, and the other thing I wanted to mention, even though it's totally off topic, but if you're a Dead Poets Society fan, the Land's End also had rugby shirts. I did not need a rugby shirt. I have a bunch, but I like this colors. Kind of Ravenclaw, according to the book, maybe. Very preppy, and so haven't tried it on yet. Don't know how they are. I got an extra large just to be on the safe side. And so if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. And I probably won't be wearing any rugby shirts anytime soon either. I have a bunch of them, and the weather almost always is horrible here to actually get to use most of them. But I try. Okay.